Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions 137. Holy cow!
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
All the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo, Sassy, Sarah, and Donnie Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes. What do you got to say, Sarah? I know you usually get
like, subscribe, share, follow, do all the things on all the places, on all the socials. Something important is to, I totally blanked. It's been a day already. Eddie's on social media. He loves for you guys to always reach out. We're all on social media, but I'm not as active. Donnie's super active sometimes. It just all depends. But Eddie's the best one to reach out to.
That's right.
He really loves the attention.
I had a young lady this weekend, Sarah, wanting to buy our podcast.
Heck yeah.
Guess how much?
$2.
$30,000.
Oh, no.
I said, oh, honey, no.
There's we have 12 million listeners in the first hour because of how many places we're on. Yeah.
Don't forget, hit the fan mail button if you want to correspond that way. TikTokers, Eddie's always on TikTok, so communicate with him that way as well. We love your comments, suggestions, questions especially, and we'd love to interact with you. So, and we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Before we get started, I just want to do one thing. Okay. Happy birthday to you.
Sassy Sarah.
Birthday to you.
Sassy Sarah.
Happy birthday.
Sassy Sarah.
Happy birthday to you and many more.
Thank you. I know you guys reached out on Saturday.
Looks like you had fun on Saturday. You were line dancing. That's pretty cool.
I did. I went to the charity thing that was line dancing. Hold on. I keep trying to have somebody wanting to walk into my office. I'm
I don't care. Sign a release.
No.
Yeah, really.
Aiden does not like to be on the podcast. He's super, super shy.
Aiden, get on the screen.
He just came back from biking, so it's fine. But what I was going to mention is I took the day off. Taxes are due today for businesses. And just being able to sit and relax. And I say relaxing, I didn't really. I went to the gym. I cooked food for this week. I took my daughter grocery shopping. But it was all choices that I made. So somehow it made things better. Because I don't usually do things on my birthday. I usually try to stay underneath the radar. Yeah.
Was that your hat or did they provide that to you?
Oh, they provided that. That was there. And I picked pink because my daughter loves pink. And they also had a white one that lit up, which was pretty awesome. Cool. It was fun.
How many folks were there, Sarah?
There were probably 15, 20 people.
That's it?
And they had professional line dancers who are the ones who taught us, which was really awesome. This is the second time they put that on at that location. And the second charity that actually was raising funds. So, pretty cool.
So did you do the hustle?
Right there.
Look at that. I did not see that picture.
Oh, yeah. It's on
Facebook. You and everybody else, Donnie.
What's funny is they were like, oh my God, there's someone here and they're celebrating a birthday. And I'm like, oh my God, who told? Because like I said, I don't usually make a big deal about it.
And then
it was somebody else's birthday.
I would say they said, happy birthday, Billy.
Yeah, it was so hilarious. And one of my friends came and hung out for my birthday. And she's like, should we tell them? No. I'm good. Thank you.
No.
Let her have this day. It's fantastic. Let her have this day.
Are there a lot in McKinney? Are there a lot of, bars, restaurants, whatever, that do a lot of that have live bands a lot and line dancing and all that, like in Nashville, or no?
Not that I'm aware of in McKinney. This was more of, it's an event space that was renting it out. I actually had my wedding there 4 years ago.
You had mentioned
it's a beautiful space, and they do a lot of weddings, and then they also do events. And it's one of those, they were putting it on to raise money for the charity. There probably are places you can go and do live dancing. There's more places you can go for restaurants that have live music.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
I don't know. I don't really go out and hang out. I need to start doing that more often. So I'll let you know. I'll search all of McKinney. You know what? I take that back. Eddie knows more about the McKinney nightlife than I do.
I do. I do.
Apparently, I don't know. Do you want to tell them about the shrimp, or do we need to keep that a secret?
Uh-oh.
The shrimp?
Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
He told me, and I'm like, I will never order shrimp at
Okay, Sarah. I just want to give a shout out before I talk about the Boom Boom Shrimp to our buddy, our friend of the show, Juan Chivero, better known as El Toro. Looking kind of rough, but that was his 4th victory. So congratulations.
Awesome, fantastic.
I mean, he's just a little bit shorter than me, so he's not a real big fella. And the guy that he fought was 6'3". So,
oh my goodness,
he might be El Toro, but this boy's got the heart of a lion. So check out him on TikTok. I usually post stuff when they send it to me because I really want to see him do well. Only 23 years old, but it looks like he has a bright future. But he got a heck of a shiner there in that picture, man.
wow.
I mean, he got his eye dotted, didn't he? or like the Texans say, isn't it? Isn't that right? Isn't that right?
Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, in McKinney Square, that's where my office used to be in, and it looks like once my lease is up here, I do plan on moving back to that area because I liked it so much. But I'll ask Don. Don, have you ever eaten Boom Boom Shrimp? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what it is, so probably not.
So, well, that's good. I'm sure your wife is very happy about that. So, basically, think of like shrimp breaded, but with buffalo sauce. Tasty, right?
Yeah, it could be, right? Yeah.
It is, believe it or not, and I'm fussy.
Do you dip it in blue cheese?
No, they're all, they got ranch here.
Oh, ranch. You dip it in ranch?
No, I don't use either one of them, but I'm just saying the Texans, they like the ranch. There's something wrong with them.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah.
So, I, and I really enjoyed the nightlife of McKinney Square. I totally embraced it. Probably drank a little bit too much. That's why I don't drink no more. And I asked Sarah about the Boom Boom Shrimp. I go, "You're not ordering that, are you?" She goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good. I know what you're talking about." I go,
I never ordered them before. I never said it. That wasn't me. That was somebody else.
That's somebody else. Who knows? It's all.
It was a different Sassy Sarah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I like shrimp, but I'm very picky about my shrimp because a lot of places you go, they don't take the vein out. Like it goes into a whole thing, and I have issues with that. So I just don't order it when I go out. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
McKinney Square, they got a bunch of different restaurants and bars. Fun place. And when you order the Boom Boom Shrimp, you're not ordering it to eat, Don.
I don't even know where this is going.
Forward?
I don't know if you should. We might get deleted from every podcast.
So you buy the Boom Boom Shrimp.
Yes.
And you place it in front of you, either on your table, on the bar, to the side, so that somebody else can come up to you and take a piece of that Boom Boom Shrimp. Because that's the person that wants to take you home for a swinging good time.
Oh my goodness.
There are 4 swinger establishments in McKinney Square alone.
I never knew this. I'm like, wait a second, what?
Took a guy from Buffalo to move the friggin' McKinney area to find out something about that, right?
Oh, yeah. Man, I guess I'm way out of the loop. I've never heard of anything like that in my life.
I have a friend that lives close to you, and when he moved there, he's got a southern accent. Just thank God for him, because I know what he sounds like drunk and sober, so I can understand all these Texans. He's like, Ed, yeah, y'all ever hear about the White Rocks? I'm like, White Rocks. What are you talking about? So like it's in the suburbs like you, Don, and you have your mailbox in front of the house by the curb for the mailman. And if you have white rocks around your mailbox, you're down to clown, baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. I know way too much
Learned
about this, and
so much.
I'm such a clean, uptight Polish Catholic that I would never do any of that, because I don't like being dirty. That just sounds dirty.
Well, so here's the funny thing is there was this guy that I watch on YouTube, and he talks about all these different dramas that are going on and filling people in. And one of them was about this carnival cruise that was supposed to last like a year or whatever. And it comes out that if you have a pineapple, it means you're a swinger. And I'm like,
upside down, Sarah. It's got to be upside down.
you knowing that, I forgot that piece. But I'm like, there's not people who just like pineapples and put something and it just happened to fall over. Like that would.
If it's not upside down, it's just a pineapple.
What do you mean you have to have a pineapple? Where do you display it?
Well, I had to laugh because one of my daughters didn't know that, and she had like a really fancy leather purse that had pineapples all over it. I'm like, do you know what that is?
It's a pineapple.
No.
Right, it's a pineapple.
I mean, you wear a shirt with pineapples on it, or I mean, what do you? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Well, just make sure they're not upside down. Eddie said only if it's upside down.
Yes. Like I'm the person you talked about swinging. Hey, Dr. Eddie Buffalo, he knows all them rules.
You seem to.
No.
Right?
I'm like watching this from a distance. I had nothing to do with any of this stuff. No.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because about that podcast thing that I listened to on YouTube, the lady found out, and she loves pineapples. She just loves pineapples, and she found that out, and she's like,
I bet she does.
I just like pineapples. Please don't come talk to me for that. I just really like pineapples.
So my aunt that always made up pineapple upside down cake. Was that a swinger thing too, or did it a tasty treat?
I don't know.
That was the 70s, so I don't think so. Maybe,
Trendsetters. Your family.
70s, when you were in your 20s, Don, did you put your keys into a fishbowl? That's who you people went home with?
No, in the 1870s, we didn't even need keys.
It's just an open relationship.
It was open door policy.
Hey, Sarah. We went to Buc-ee's again this weekend to get our prickly pear, and we're addicted to prickly. I just had some on toast before the show, but we haven't done one in a while. We're gonna do a Pop-Tart tasting today, a live one. Me and Donnie, if you want to join us.
Guess that's awesome.
I think we're not gonna say. We'll because they ain't gonna see this till after that. Because I can say it. Apple Jacks Pop-Tarts.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. I liked Apple Jacks. So the other thing is I'll get a Starbucks latte, although they changed it where it's matcha now instead of just a green tea latte.
Yeah.
And the green tea latte always tasted like the fruity pebble milk.
Oh, really?
And so I would love drinking that because it's like I'm eating fruity pebble.
I always like the
delicious.
Yeah,
okay, so here's the thing. For all the people who are following on TikTok or who's watching this or listening, comment to Eddie, what was your favorite cereal as a child growing up, and if you like the milk afterwards. Because there's only few that I'll drink the milk afterwards, and that's because I don't want to be wasteful. Others is because I actually enjoyed it. My daughters and my son, or daughters, my daughter and my son would just pour out the milk just because they didn't like the flavor of it.
I loved Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but that was later, like Golden Grahams. But I gotta have to say, Count Chocolate was number one for me.
Cocoa Puffs.
It's okay. Every once in a while, they'd have a peanut butter one that was pretty good too.
No, I like the chocolate Cocoa Puffs. And the best thing, if you live in Buffalo and you go downtown, they make the Cheerios. I think they make the Cocoa Puffs and some other General Mills cereals. And boy, does that smell good when they're doing that.
Can I tell a quick? I don't want to take up your time, but can I tell a quick story about the Cheerios in downtown Buffalo?
Uh-oh. Sure.
So, do you folks know who Kevin Smith is? Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob, comedian. Wrote a lot of
Mhm.
films, Chasing Amy, Jersey
Okay.
Girl, all those. So
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
he still does some stand up, and I'd have to say maybe 5 6 years ago, he showed up at a place called Helium in Buffalo. It's like a chain. They got heliums all over the place, and
Yeah.
it's right by the General Mills factory. And he was saying that the first time he was in Buffalo, he just started smoking pot. He wasn't a pot smoker, and so he did an early show and a late show, a 7 and a 10. And so after the first show, he went out in the alley because you can't smoke inside the building in New York. He went out in the alley and he's like, smoking. He's like, oh, I think I'm having a stroke. I smell Lucky Charms. And someone had to explain to him that it either smelled like Cheerios or Lucky Charms in the downtown Buffalo area. I thought that was great.
That is funny. So, Sarah, what's your topic for today?
So the topic for today, it was interesting with some of the things that I've seen come out with the presidential debate, and I know that these conversations are not new. Well, one of them is new. I've never
I've
heard
got
of that.
tapping out on this one if she's getting political, Don.
No,
I'm too tired from all her letters she gets.
no. And I'm just going from a tax standpoint about what's been spoken about. For example, Trump had mentioned not taxing overtime hours and
Oh, I didn't know
not
that
taxing
one.
Social Security. Yes, that's something he had said sometime last week or something.
Yeah.
And one of the things is I want to make sure people understand the process that has to happen with tax laws. So when any candidate, I don't care which side they're on or who they're affiliated with, if they say, when I'm in office, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, they really hold no power. So what happens is they can make a suggestion, they can meet with the people who are in place, but the House of Representatives are the ones who have to initiate the tax bill.
They control
And
the
then
purse
the
strings.
way, huh?
They control the purse strings.
Yes. So they're the ones who actually have to create it. And then they send it to the Ways and Means Committee that kind of reach an agreement about the legislative suggestions. And they create the bill. It has to go to Congress. Then it has to go to the president.
Yeah, it has to go to the Senate first, and then. But yeah, here's the thing. So whichever party is in power, so to speak,
Yes.
Whether it's the Republican side, the Democrat side, if they've got the House of Representatives, saying, yes, we like this initiative from the president, and they pass it, then you got to go through that battle with the Senate, But
Yes.
So that's the thing. You're right. The president just can't say, well, I'm going to sign this into law. No, you can't.
Yes. Well, and the only reason I wanted to bring it up today was more of, I've seen a lot of commentary about it. And in the videos, I've noticed other people commenting of, oh, he's just going to do, I forgot the name of the things he signs.
Executive order.
The executive order. Oh, yeah. He can just sign an executive order. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. It's not going to pass. It's not going to enact any changes. That's just going to be a kind of like a wave of putting the ball into the tax court, trying to make them like do the actual process, but it's not going to do anything because there are steps that our forefathers for this country has put in place to make sure one branch of government does not have absolute power. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. It's not really getting political. It's just making people know what the process is. Because we all know it doesn't matter which line that they're on. To me, something I've always heard is you take a politician's words about as much as you would take a used car salesman.
Here come the letters from the used car salesman.
Well, I'm just going to put myself on mute.
And the only reason I'm mentioning that is I've actually had car dealerships take my keys and refuse to give them back, trying to force me to sign a contract. Like,
really?
Yes, I had to threaten to call the cops, like they were holding me hostage, and I was making a scene. I'm like, no, I don't want the deal because they kept trying to push me into a car that I knew I couldn't afford, and I did not want. Um, and it didn't work out. Like
So
that happened.
what do you have against the Maserati? I thought you would like that. You just didn't want it?
Oh no, I just didn't want to get a car and then lose it. Like I have to have a car. Dallas is, or was it Dallas? Yeah, I lived in Dallas at the time. It's so big that if you took the buses or the trains, it would still take you an hour and a half, 2 hours to get where you needed to go. Usually because I lived so far from where I worked, and it would have been like 20, 30 minutes in a car. So I couldn't go without a car. It would.
So I have a question. Should that policy go into effect with any overtime hours worked? So if somebody works beyond the 40 hours in the week and they're on
Mm-hmm,
overtime and they're not taxed, at least federally, probably the states would still tax them that do have a
mm-hmm.
state income tax. What would that cause you a lot of extra work? Do you think, or I'm sure there'd be reporting mechanisms where it would be fine, right?
Well, so what would happen is all the documentations that need to be reported to the IRS, to the state governments, all would need to be changed to break out what was considered overtime. And then the employees would have to make sure when they get their W 2, they're already supposed to double check all information, but they have to make sure when they double check it, all of their overtime hours that were paid were not taxed. They have to double check when they get their check, those hours are not taxed. Because I mean, you have everybody's human. Payroll systems would have to be updated. Like it's a bigger complication that I see. I think it would be fantastic. I would like to go where no income is taxed. I don't think Social Security should be taxed, but that's just a different debate. Um, and so I think that it's good for it. It's just coming up with an actual strategic plan. It wouldn't be retroactive, so it would be going forward. So more than likely, if that was to happen, it would be at 2026, 2027, respectively, just to go through all the laws, procedures that need to be changed, all the forms that need to be updated, all the payroll companies that have to update. And then the other question would come down to the state level. Is it still taxed at the state level? Because then that's another complication it would have to add. So that's interesting. It's going to be following it because if it does happen, just the logistics of it to make sure it runs smoothly. And most importantly is whether or not it goes through, always double check your paychecks and W-2s to make sure the right taxes are coming out.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So in Texas, you don't have to worry because you don't tax income. In New York State, that
Correct.
would be that'd
New
be
York,
interesting to see which way they
California,
would
yeah.
go. Either to follow the federal, if that was federal law, if they were to follow that, or just say,
Mm-hmm.
no, we're going to charge still. I could see that
Correct.
happening in
Well,
New York, but
oh yeah, and I see the same with California. But then you also have to think of what the implications would be when overtime is not taxed or Social Security is not taxed, how that's going to affect the budget. How are they going to weigh that out to where there's still enough income coming in to cover those tax dollars? Because that's the whole reason taxes expanded to everybody else instead of just the high net worth earners, and why it's as big of a monster that it is today. And then it comes into the companies. I mean, it would be beneficial because if you think about it, companies pay part of the taxes on Social Security and Medicare as well.
hmm
So not only are you saving the federal income taxes, you're saving on Social Security and Medicare, unless they still want to tax Social Security and Medicare in all time. So there's just so many questions I have. But yeah.
interesting. You can come off mute now if you want, Ed. He
No.
says no. No way.
I get in enough trouble on my own. I don't need help.
Me too.
No, but that is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I have a crazy question for you, Sarah,
Sure.
because I know you're such a conspiracy type person. So, say if another government sets off an EMP and all the electronics get wiped out across America, how do you have their taxes backed up at all?
I have it electronically.
It's gone.
I do.
EMP went off. They're gone electronically.
Yes. So that poses a problem.
So no,
A
no
lot of our
taxes to
clients,
anybody.
well, a lot of our clients like hard copies, so some of them have that. Um, that's a tough question. So I don't like paper. So if an EMP happens and it wipes out everything, including the IRS records, then a lot of people are going to have a lot of issues. So I don't see it happening at that level. Like, for example, our client portal and what we use pulls transcripts from the IRS. So they're super secure in what they have. And then if something happened to our file, let's say that system goes out of business, it crashes, whatever the case may be, or everything gets deleted, whatever. The IRS, you should still be able to pull transcripts as well as the states. So there's other avenues to get it. I don't see it happening on that. Everything goes out. Now, if the grid goes out and you can't access any computers to pull anything, it makes it tricky, and we just go back to like the 1800s of all the accounting ledgers and papers, which I learned all that in school. That would be pretty awesome.
So what you're saying is people like Donnie will be more marketable because he lived during that time.
Exactly.
I'm ready, baby.
It kind of makes me excited because I'm like, oh, I'll get a quill pen and I'll get the desk that they use that was angled up, because I love history stuff. Like, I have a lot of kitchen appliances where I get the crank ones because it's just freaking awesome. I have my great grandmother's sewing machine that's not electronic, but you have to use the little foot pedal. Like, I would totally nerd out on that.
So I guess what she's saying is she's hoping for the apocalypse.
I guess so.
I will be fine in the apocalypse. So any of the preppers, I know how to make soap from like scratch. I know how to do my own beef jerky and make some nutritious meals, literally out of anything. So hit me up if there's an apocalypse. We can make a little bartering situation going on.
How are they going to get a hold of you if there's an apocalypse, Sarah?
All they have to do is come to McKinney, Texas, and it's kind of smallish.
Kind of smallish. There's 225,000 people that live in McKinney. Are you kidding me? You believe that?
We're not in any of the new development, so if it looks new, don't come find me.
It sounds like it's a small town, don't it, Donnie? Let me tell you what. Yeah,
it's a pretty small town. It's not a one light town. It sounds like.
No. That would actually be pretty awesome, because then it wouldn't take so long to get across town.
So Donnie,
not McKinney, just in general, because we're so close to other suburbs and.
So, Donnie, one of your first jobs, was it to wake up people in the morning? Were you their alarm clock, or were you a lamplighter?
Well, the lamplighter wouldn't wake them up.
I said, separate job. I'm kind of asking. You're a pretty busy fella.
Yeah. I actually, a distant, ancestor of ours was a lamplighter in Buffalo.
Really? That's interesting.
And every evening he would go around into, I don't know how they divided the territories or whatever, and he'd light the lamps on the streets.
Imagine when it's snowing like hell and you had to go to work. Talk about not wanting to go to work because you got a crummy job. Man, we got nothing on that guy or girl. I don't know if girls did it back then, but whatever.
I think it was.
I try to make everybody happy with what I say. It happens sometimes.
I see that. So here's a thing, because I just Googled, because I know. No, this goes on taxes on Social Security benefits. I was trying to see if there was already a plan in place, because I know a lot of people think that that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
And apparently there is a new legislation that has been put in place earlier in the year And they're hoping to do it starting in 2025 and have it last until like 2054.
Wow, that's a
So,
long sunset period.
It's 30
yes.
years, baby.
So whether that goes through, because I don't see anything else happening. But this was back in January of 2024. Unless I see it get closer to an actual bill and through the process, it's kind of like
It's not going to happen this year, though.
No, there's no way. We're too close towards the end. And the IRS shuts down in December and part of January, where they take no tax returns, electronic. You can mail it in, but then you risk it just sitting there for months, so that they can update the system with all the new changes that take place and get their everything in order for the tax season. So
because they're not working for us, we still have to pay them the tax for that time frame. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and it doesn't help that a lot of my clients are getting letters they freak out about because the IRS hired more staff, and they're not reading the notes on the account or what's been filed. They're just like, "Hey, blah, here's the information," and it's like, no, you're freaking out the client. Calm yourself. Read the notes. So that's been fun the past few months.
Crazy.
Hopefully they get trained up soon.
Crazy.
Yep.
Anything else on taxes?
Not really. There's not a whole lot of changes. Usually it's just if you haven't filed already, the final extension filing period is October 15th, so next month for individuals. Most accountants, CPA firms, tax professionals stop taking any information 2 weeks before the due date just to make sure everything gets done properly and efficiently, and just keeping that in mind. So if you haven't filed, reach out to your tax specialist. If you don't have a tax specialist and still need to file, reach out to me and we can see if we can help.
And how can they reach you?
Hold on. What's your email or website again?
www.ebiagency.com, or I sent the email now, and the hotline is 716-541-4118.
I was gonna see. I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, is it on there?" And
I forgot to put it on, so I forget it.
Yeah. Just remember, go to the partner pages. I'm number 1 on the list, so I am awesome.
And what's the name of your agency?
Just give us an update on how Aiden doing football this weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
So their game that they played on Thursday, they are 2-0. And good. I think the score, if I remember correctly, was 54-0.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and I was reminding Aiden to be very mindful that he has a fantastic opportunity, because the gentleman who's over our league played professional sports, and he's filling that knowledge to the coaches, who are then passing that knowledge on to the players. And we're playing at private schools, so they have coaches. Not saying anything about the coaches, but because they don't have that knowledge at the professional level, they may not be getting the same information. So he needs to
more letters from the Dallas Cowboys. They'll be bitching about Sassy Sarah.
I'm saying his knowledge. I didn't state his team, sir. You did that.
Well,
trust me, I'm not a Cowboy fan, even though I lived here.
Here she goes. More letters. People that love the Dallas Cowboys hate Sassy.
I love messing with the Cowboy fans. It is hilarious. And for those who don't know, I grew up watching the Cowboys. I was supposed to be a diehard Cowboy fan. And granted, I should probably reevaluate things. But when I was a kid, it was always, you did your best at whatever you did. You went to practice, you did your homework, you did what you were supposed to do. And after they won all the Super Bowls, I started hearing from the news outlets they weren't going to practice. And to me, it's if you're not going to put in the effort, then there's no reason I need to support you. And granted, the Cowboys now are not the Cowboys from then, but I hold some grudges, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So do we as Buffalo Bills fans.
Just a little bit, I guess. So. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yes.
If you like working with people that are just like you, or the people to see, www.eviagency.com, 716-541-4118. And my email is eddybednarsinsurance@gmail.com. So for Eddie Buffalo, your buddy Sassy Sarah, and Donnie Lowe, we are out of here. So me and Don can do our Apple Jacks Pop-Tart video live.
Woo!
All right,
Can't wait.
everybody. Do your chow stuff, Don.
Ciao.